And the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series has found heaven. Joe Lee Johnson and his staff at Cleveland Speedway have prepared all night and all day to provide a nearly perfect racetrack surface. And the Hav-A-Tampa late model explosion of speed is about to begin. The beautiful hills of southeastern Tennessee look down on Cleveland Speedway, where we've come to watch the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series for race number 11 in the big long season for the $1.5 million purse money. Hello, race fans. I'm Trace Ali, along with Mark McCarter, and there's history everywhere around us, from Lookout Mountain way over that way to the racetrack we're standing in front of.
That's right, southeast Tennessee, full of history. A little personal history for me, Trace. First race I ever saw here at this Speedway. My grandfather brought me here. I was 5 years old. About 20 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah, give or take 20. And of course, this particular racetrack has its own history because Joe Lee Johnson is the owner of it. For those of you who don't know, Joe Lee Johnson won the first World 600, now known as the Coca-Cola 600, at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He's prepared a great racetrack, though. That's what he does best now. And he's also got a son involved.
Ronnie Johnson will be starting the 6th spot tonight. Trace, you had a chance to visit with him earlier today.
Ronnie Johnson began his race career right here at Cleveland, Tennessee Speedway. It was a bit of an ignominious or rough beginning for you, Ronnie. Is that true?
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but first night I raced, I'd been here a bunch of times and seen my dad race and helped a bunch of people with their cars and stuff. But the first time I raced, I think I hit the wall on the front straightaway after having to start in the back and not knowing what to expect. You know, I hit the wall, my arm spun around, my elbow knocked the seatbelt right loose. But that's the first time I raced. That was clear back in 1973. It was like the week after I graduated from high school.
Talk a little about the season and how it's gone so far for you. Has it gone somewhat close to prediction or just too many surprises to tell yet?
We've been running well. Actually, the car's been fast. We haven't won a race yet this year. We've had some second, third, fourth place finishes. But early in the year, we'd be running good and we'd break. You know, we've been doing well. We just need to get up there really wanting to win one, and, you know, that would help everything a lot.
And as Ronnie Johnson says, this track's going to have a lot of interesting conditions to deal with tonight. But one of the most interesting conditions is all race car drivers need big sponsorship to really compete. But we've got a guy sitting in the field tonight, Mark, that's working without the big sponsorships.
That's right. He's Jamie Perry from Ringgold, Georgia, about 50 miles from here.
Whenever the big people come in, you know, all the money and stuff, it's kind of hard to compete. But there's an advantage to running here every week. I mean, you get to run every week and get to set your car up and know what the racetrack's going to do. And it builds up a pretty good confidence level, being able to run here every week.
Mark Miner from Stockbridge, Georgia, has had quite a run of luck and some real driving skill put to the test here the last couple of weeks, but it's been looking really good. Mark, you finished second last week at the race, and prior to that, you've been running close to the front quite a bit lately in the Hav-A-Tampa Series.
Well, we've just been having some real good luck at the races. The car's been set up good, and that puts us towards the front at the start of the race, and that just helps out a bunch when you start in the front.
Well, Bloomquist obviously is a story here, and you've been the one challenging him the most lately.
Well, we kind of just fell into this track and run pretty good. Last year's Hav-A-Tampa race, we started on the front right side next to Bloomquist, and we run second to him. So, and then here earlier this year, they had another 100-lap race, and we qualified second once again, ended up third, but still we had a good run.
There's always a matter of luck involved. Is there anything in particular Scott Bloomquist is doing to carry a little extra luck in the car tonight?
I don't know. You know, I believe in good preparation is good luck. So, you know, you have a little bit of luck when it comes to flat tires and things like that. And, you know, I don't know. We feel pretty aggressive tonight. I'll just have to keep myself calmed down and stay out of the fences and, you know, try to stay off the other cars. That's where a lot of your bad luck comes in. You know, you get into some cars and it causes tires to be cut down, and that just starts for a bad luck weekend, you know. So it's a pretty tight racetrack, you know, and you got to really plan your passes, and when you're going to get by somebody, you got to make it happen the first time, or they'll be sure you don't get by the next time if they get to see you. So, you know, you got to really race this racetrack.
Scott Bloomquist is last season's champion and the current points leader, but he's going to be challenged by many other drivers tonight. Stay with us. We're coming back with highlights of last night's qualifying for the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Track Racing Series. That's what we saw last night with the heat racing here at Cleveland Speedway in Tennessee. We're going to take a look right now, Mark, at some of those highlights. The race for the pole position got underway with Scott Bloomquist on the pole, but quickly found himself behind Stan Massey, who shot ahead and quickly grabbed the lead. Stan Massey from Mableton, Georgia, definitely found the setup right away to be to his liking on Cleveland Speedway. But Scott Bloomquist, of course, would spend the next 10 laps trying to show him that it wasn't going to be that easy to maintain the lead. But Stan Massey continued to run freely and open the lead in the straightaways, although being caught up just a little bit by Scott, as you saw there in the turns. But Stan Massey ran smoothly, took the lead, and had no problem staying in front of Scott for the remainder of this lap, and would take the checkered flag to take the pole position in the feature race on Saturday night. So advancing with Stan Massey, the 22 car, number 18 car in second, of course, Scott Bloomquist, along with John Jones and Jake Lowry. In heat race number 2, on the inside, Chattanooga, Tennessee's Ronnie Johnson in number 5 quickly found himself falling into second as Baton Rouge, Louisiana's Freddie Smith in the 00 car leaped to the front. The GVS racing team has had not a lot of success at Cleveland Speedway, with 2 smacks into the wall and 1 no finish. But on this particular night in this heat race, Freddie Smith was the car to beat, looked very smooth, ran beautifully down the front straightaway to take the checkered flag to advance, along with Ronnie Johnson from Chattanooga, number 77 Robbie Starnes from Houston, and number 51 Frank Thompson from Franklin, North Carolina. In heat race number 3, Mark Miner in the 7 car swerved slightly at the beginning, but held the low side as he got around under and inside Rick Auckland from Fargo, North Dakota. But Rick came right back to chase him down, trying to go inside once again as they neared the end of the first lap. But Mark, staying on the high, somewhat middle side of the racetrack, held him off. But behind them in C28, Kenny Merchant, running second in the rookie points so far in the 1995 Hav-A-Tampa series, held off 2 other cars behind him, including Clint Smith. Back to the front, though, Mark Miner, still holding basically the same low line, went just a little lower to keep Rick Auckland in tow, while Kenny Merchant in C28 got into Clint Smith as they went into turn 1, but Clint held it, and so did Kenny Merchant as they both sped on down the track. Mark Miner would take the heat race and be joined by Rick Auckland, Jeff Stansbury, and Clint Smith as they would move into the feature for the final night. In heat 4, the big race started with Dale McDowell with the biggest engine of the lot that particular night, racing slightly ahead of Jamie Perry in the P4 car. It looked like he was going to run away with it on the straightaway because he had the extra power to run. But Jamie kept sticking the nose of the car right in there of the P4 car, making sure that it wasn't going to be an easy run for Dale McDowell for the entire race. Dale held him off basically by blocking him going into the turns. But in the straightaways, Jamie held his own in the P4 car and came inside to get around Dale as Dale lost traction and went to the high side. Dale McDowell in the number 17 car was driving with the largest engine of the field due to the fact that he had lost 3 engines over the last 3 races and had only the large, high-powered motor to run. Of course, the extra weight caused handling problems, and handling problems occurred also for the number 9 car with Frank Ingram coming out of turn 2. On the second restart with about 3 laps to go, again smoothly slipping ahead of Dale McDowell, the P4 car of Jamie Perry was the car to beat. He rode smoothly down the racetrack, headed on the white flag lap around the final turn, looking like it was going to be no contest. Suddenly had to go to the outside to avoid a stalled car in turn 4, but racing to the flag would take that particular win for heat race number 4. Joined by Dale McDowell, Dwayne Smith, and Granger Howell of Kingston, Georgia. These heat races would put the top 16 into the final, and 8 more added to the feature in Saturday night consolation racing. Stand by. We're going to go racing for 100 laps with the Hav-A-Tampa Dirt Racing Series right after this. Tampa Race Series race number 11 from Cleveland, Tennessee is about to get underway here at Cleveland Speedway as you take a look at the beautiful race cars that come with the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series. But interesting enough, we've got an awful lot of guys from this 1-4 county area and part of this race tonight. We'll take you through the rundown here real quickly. Fast time set by Stan Massey, who sits on the pole tonight from Mableton, Georgia. Next to him in row 1 on the outside, 4-time World 100 champion Freddie Smith from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, driving the GVS racing team car. In row 2, it's Mark Miner from Stockbridge, Georgia. And on the outside, Jamie Perry from Ringgold, Georgia.
Starting in 5th, Scott Bloomquist, car number 18. He's from Mooresburg, Tennessee. Starting in the 6th spot from Chattanooga, car number 5, Ronnie Johnson. On the 4th row, car number 12, Rick Auckland from Fargo, North Dakota. And outside him, Dale McDowell from Chickamauga, Georgia, and Chattanooga, Tennessee, car number 17.
Row number 5, it's John Jones from Rock Spring, Georgia, next to Robbie Starnes from Houston, Texas. Row 6, Jeff Stansbury from Cleveland, Tennessee, and another Cleveland, Tennessee member, Dwayne Smith, in the 12th position.
Clint Smith, number 2 in the point standings, will start on the inside on row 7, car number 1. On the outside of him, car number 51, Frank Thompson. On row 8, Kenny Merchant, car C28. On the outside of him, Granger Howell, car number 81.
In row 9, it's Greg McPherson inside, Marshall Green outside. Row 10, it's David Millens. And M47 on the 20th position is Robbie Mason from Hickson, Tennessee.
Starting on row 11 from nearby Georgetown, Tennessee, car number 12, Andy Dill. Outside him, car number 53, Ray Cook from Murphy, North Carolina. On row 12, car G2, David Gibson from Ash Flat, Arkansas. David's a leader in the Burt Transmission Waydon Racing Rookie of the Year Championship, as well as the Childs and Albert Hard Charger Award. And rounding out the field from Ackworth, Georgia, car number 9, Frank Ingram.
And of course, the pole position with Stan Massey now qualifies him for the Iskey Racing Cams dash money, $5,000 to win for a fast race coming up at our friendly track in Woodstock, Georgia, known as Dixie Speedway, the home of the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series. The field's getting set to roll. We've got the crowd on their feet. Thousands of people waiting for the start here of race number 11 for the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series. They won't start until they see that first line across the track. Our cameras pick them up as we roll for the start, as the green flag takes us into the first turn. And so far, a clean sweep, a little bit of bumping, a little bit of grinding, but everything looking smooth so far as we head through. Coming around now into turn 4 with Freddie Smith on the outside, pulling ahead of Stan Massey, taking the lead on the first lap, and now running to the high side and winning this race on lap number 2 as we get underway for 100 laps racing here tonight.
Scott Bloomquist not being patient at all, but got a little nudge from rookie Jamie Perry from Ringgold, Georgia. Bloomquist running in 4th.
As you can see from that shot, the speed's already approaching 120 miles an hour. As the track sets a little better, you'll see even faster speeds. Freddie Smith still leading, coming around for another lap, taking a good look on the inside of the racetrack, but testing his skills and his car's set up just a little bit here as we race down the back straightaway, looking at Scott Bloomquist, who's already moved himself up into 4th place in this race, not to be denied another win in front of our cameras if at all possible.
You know, we were talking earlier with Jamie Perry. He said he wasn't going to be intimidated by some of these guys, and he sure proved it. He nailed Bloomquist in the rear end a while ago and is staying steady in 5th place.
The race car of Freddie Smith takes us down the front straightaway. The beautiful Base Tubes 00 car, sponsored by Gulf Valve Services out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Beautiful race car, followed by Mapleton, Georgia, Stan Massey and the 22 car, which started on the pole but is slipped back just a little. But there's still a lot of racing ahead, and a lot of things can change on this racetrack. You can't judge the first few laps and say who's going to have the car that'll have it all by the end of this race. Dirt track racing, Hav-A-Tampa Race Series style, is what you're watching right here. Scott Bloomquist continuing to pull right on up front. He may have the tire combination he referred to earlier tonight that was going to be the most important for this racetrack. Basically all the same types of engines, but everybody has a little bit of different choice when it comes to the type of rubber they put on their car to handle this particular racetrack. Joe Lee Johnson on the racetrack has literally sweated over it all day long today to try to make it as perfect as you can get it. And from our particular vantage point right now, we have a great sticky or tacky racetrack for these guys to exceed the speed limit on here. Freddie Smith continues to open his lead over Stan Massey. Back in turn 4, we see the rest of the field coming through, maintaining pretty close to a 2-wide stance, which proves this racetrack is going to stay real passable and give us some great racing as we continue to watch them pour through at now approaching 125 miles per hour as they reach the end of the straightaways heading into the turns. Beautiful look from the front straightaway as they come barreling at you right here on Sports South. Racing coverage at Cleveland Speedway, brought to you by the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series, rocking and roaring to a track near you and smoking to the finish. As we go back out, we see G2 now passed by Freddie Smith. He's down a lap at the end of the pack. Freddie Smith is now looking for some lap traffic. This will give Stan Massey and the car 22 a chance to pull up a little bit and maybe do a little fighting with him.
Freddie has already put 2 lap cars in his pocket. Frank Ingram, who started last in the field, has already been lapped now by 5 other cars.
Now inside the 9 car, looking like he's going around him. There's another car he's just about to pull away from. Freddie Smith has got the car and the setup for this race so far, as we've now completed 20 laps as we head towards the remaining 80 laps. It's going to go fast tonight, folks. Don't move away from the screen. Freddie Smith very smooth in turn 3 and in 4. At this point, I would say his line is basically wide on the front straightaway and then dip down low and check up just a little before the acceleration in the back straightaway. And then he just moves on down the racetrack.
He's doing a beautiful job weaving through lap traffic. I think that's going to be the biggest factor right now. It's an awfully crowded track with 24 cars out here.
But Freddie is definitely finding a line right through the lap traffic and passing him. He's going by Ray Cook right now. Ray trying to make a little bit of a battle out of it with him as they speed down into turn 4 together. And now they come flying past. Stan Massey is actually kind of slipping back a little. He's not really advancing at all. And now he's beginning to catch a little bit of lap traffic that has slipped back in front of him. Ray Cook still sliding around back there behind him, the M47 car. And let's see, Stan Massey's down low and now looking to put a few cars behind him. Apparently already has, and is looking to do still more. We got a problem in turn 4, though. The car is Granger. Sorry, it's Granger.
Yes, it is. Granger Howell.
Granger Howell in car 81.
Orthopedic Services from Kingston, Georgia. Spun out in turn 4.
Worried look on Granger's face earlier along with his crew. They came into the racetrack yesterday for the qualifying, trying to put a combination together that they thought had worked pretty well here before, but something seems to have upset their plans just a little bit, and the car has stopped at this point. We'll try to find out from our Hav-A-Tampa officials what they think may be the problem. Maybe the race car just doesn't want to run right now. Lap 26 about to start as Freddie Smith brings them around and hits the start button. Here we go. High speed action once again as Freddie Smith runs the low side of the racetrack. Stan Massey, the pole sitter, coming back into second as he runs very quickly down the back straightaway on the high side of the groove, running now inside. And just behind him in third place, snuck up on him, Scott Bloomquist is coming to the front. There's Massey running down the back straightaway. He looked like he just put on a burst of speed out of nowhere just a moment ago. Scott Bloomquist has now moved past Mark Miner. He's fully in third and taking a run at Stan Massey. Got him in his sights right now.
Massey's definitely taking the high line on each turn. He took it that time, and Bloomquist has almost got inside it.
Well, apparently Stan Massey was trying to run low a little bit earlier to keep up with Freddie Smith, started falling behind. So now he's gone to a higher groove looking for a line that'll work for him. Scott Bloomquist, of course, has been running both ends of the track from top to bottom and has found himself all the way up to third now. Mark Miner's holding his line on the low side of the track and drafting just a little bit with Scott Bloomquist now. Here we go. Coming out of turn 4, Dale McDowell in number 17 is racing ahead of Ronnie Johnson in car number 5. A good battle going on there. Tight action there. Look at the slinging action of Ronnie Johnson. Proof that dirt track racing is so different from many of the other kinds of racing we watch as he flies to the outside, constantly spinning those wheels and trying to keep them as locked down on the racetrack as they can get. Here comes Ronnie Johnson. Each time he pulls low, he makes a little bit of a gain on Dale McDowell in front of him in the turns. But on the straightaway, Dale has got the power, apparently, with that bigger engine. One of the only ones running a larger engine tonight as he accelerates going down the back straightaway. We've accomplished 35 laps at this point. Stan Massey's starting to look strong again, very close to what he did last night. Looks like he's gaining a little more ground as he heads towards the front, trying to chase down Freddie Smith, who's definitely got the lead. But all around him is action. Behind him was Scott Bloomquist in car 18, the series point leader, and right next to, or just behind him now, Mark Miner. Mark Miner's car set up very similar to the one Stan Massey's running. Both cars basically owned by the same company or the same owner, and very similar in their design and speed and power.
Beautiful pass by Miner. Ahead of Bloomquist, now they're bumping each other. Great racing.
Bloomquist is definitely signaling that he's ready to go around with Mark Miner, and for him to move over and let him go. Classic Scott Bloomquist move on the outside of the turn. Here he comes back to the inside. He'll look again to the high side. Scott Bloomquist knows the way around the racetrack. It's just a question of putting his nose where he wants it. He's let Mark Miner know he better start moving over. He's ready to go on the inside. Scott's definitely ready to overpower Mark's car in the number 7 car, and he's fast on the back straightaway, and he's staying fast in the turns as well.
Really impressed with Jamie Perry.
Here's the shot of Bloomquist flying by there on the low side of the track. Front straightaway action. Here goes Scott again. Now the back straightaway. It takes him about 16.5 seconds to fly around in traffic on this 3/8 mile racetrack at Cleveland, Tennessee, Cleveland Speedway. Mark Miner continues to try to fight to hold him there, Mark. Our Mark looking here, getting caught up in the race. Now Scott Bloomquist is beginning to pull up on Perry and make a move to bring him under and lap him as well. Mark Miner's fighting, though. He's on the outside of Perry. Look at the action there. Perry just gets out of the way as Scott Bloomquist shoots down and under and gets around, and now goes back on the attack to chase down Mark Miner in the car number 7. Racing hard. We've got a caution. Scott Bloomquist right there. Dale McDowell, I'm sorry, looking at you there on the screen. Here comes the rest of the field. Clint Smith, Rick Auckland, and several others. We've got a caution. We'll try to find out what it is for you here in just a moment. Don't forget, thanks to great racing sponsors like Landrum Spring Service, American Motorsports, and the Hav-A-Tampa Racing Series, you're watching for the first time in its history our season coverage of the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series from throughout the southeastern United States, and this year adding places in Louisiana and West Plains, Missouri. Scott Bloomquist is out in the middle of the pits. They're doing a tire change or something, maybe checking an adjustment on the rear springs. Something apparently was not to Scott's liking as he pulled off in the infield. This is very rare to see Bloomquist in his car pull into the inside. They're banging away on the front right part of the car. Apparently they've gotten that jammed. That happened a little bit, probably in all that action we saw with Mark Miner earlier.
Awfully physical racing going on for a while. Bloomquist, Mark Miner, and Jamie Perry, and 2 casualties from it. Scott Bloomquist, who has pulled back on the track, and Jamie Perry still working on his car. Mark Miner's mangled, but still out there.
Racing is back underway as the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series races through turn number 1, then number 2. Freddie Smith on the back straightaway again with pole sitter Stan Massey now challenging on the outside, and apparently with each time they slow down, those tires seem to cool just enough for Stan to pick up a little extra speed, and he's staying on the outside of Freddie right now, but looking very strong in the back straightaway as he accelerates and pulls in on Freddie. Freddie stays very hard on the accelerator all the way into the turn. It's rare to see anyone back off before Freddie does.
Mark Miner got a little slippery in turn 1 and almost took out Dale McDowell, running for 3rd place.
Stan Massey's car, obviously, the 22 car, was the car to beat as he sat on the pole tonight, and now he's beginning to find a little different line around the racetrack, and as a result, seems to be catching up or at least staying in tow with Freddie Smith from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, as Freddie leads again and again. He's led, we have a serious battle going here. The 21 car is being pursued by Scott Bloomquist. Bloomquist coming down the back, or on the front straightaway, I'm sorry, racing into turn 1 and 2, looking for an opening, trying to blast through between the 2 cars. Ronnie Johnson on the tail of Mark Miner going into turn 1. Beautiful sliding action, hard press from the number 5 car from Chattanooga, Tennessee, chasing down Mark Miner. Here he goes on the inside. It looks like he may have the line on this one. Goes inside, splits Dale McDowell to the outside. Dale McDowell racing to the outside now. Here comes Ronnie Johnson back under. Mark Miner regains the position and holds off Johnson's charge. Johnson staying very quick, and staying just a little sideways in the turn. Seems to have found that setup he was looking for.
You know, I thought Johnson and McDowell were friends. You'd never know it right now.
Right now in this race, there are no friends. This is a race for $10,000 to win and a lot more money on the second and third position finish as well. Mark Miner still holding strong. Ronnie riding the high line in number 5, and it looks like he's going to make, there's a 3-wide move going right down the back straightaway. Mark Miner's now the sandwich meat right between the cars of Dale McDowell, the 17 car on the inside, and going to the outside, Ronnie Johnson. It looks like he's gained the lead on that spot. He's taken it away, and now Dale McDowell slides and passes and runs in front of and nearly has an accident, tears part of the car up there on the Mark Miner car.
Beautiful racing, 52 laps.
Over halfway through. That's right, Mark. I'm sorry, but look at this car. Mark Miner is still in the race with a lot of the front end torn away and still looking like he's got the speed. Apparently the dynamics aren't affected too badly, and he's staying right in there with him. Dale McDowell had quite a story to tell. He's messed up several engines over the last couple of races. He's racing with the largest engine of all the cars in the race tonight. He was concerned about that because on this particular racetrack, you can have too much power. Beautiful look on turn 1 as the cars slide through, slashing and tearing through turn 1 and 2. Here comes Clint Smith inside Rick Auckland. Rick Auckland now trying to make a move. Number 12, that's the one. Rick Auckland driving that Curtis Equipment car now. Inside J2, we got a caution. It looks like
coming to rest on the back stretch is rookie Kenny Merchant. He is stopped right in the middle of the back stretch. Merchant is wheeling around to his truck, and his crew's coming to check on him. Looks like they're jacking up the rear end, checking underneath the right rear tire.
Kenny Merchant right now is in his rookie season with the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series and has probably the only chance at this point to possibly catch David Gibson in the G2 car, who's leading in the rookie points, and it's looking very impossible at this point for anyone to catch him. But if anyone can, I think it'll be Kenny Merchant, Mark.
Trace, at this point, David Gibson has 358 points in the Burt Transmission Waydon Racing Rookie of the Year Championship. Kenny Merchant, 288. C.S. Fitzgerald, who is not racing here tonight, has 224. Those are the big 3 for that championship.
And David Gibson is still another story, too. Of course, he's the Childs and Albert Hard Charger Award winner so far. And, in fact, he's so far ahead, I kind of seriously doubt if anyone can take that away. He's already 50 or 60 points ahead of last year's winner of that particular award. That's an award given where you get a point for each position in a race that you improve. And, Mark, he's improved quite a few times, hasn't he?
He certainly has. He's going to have to do some more hard charging tonight, though. David started 23rd. And is currently in 19th place.
We're about to restart here in just a moment. 55, Freddie Smith fast out of the box, stays on the inside. Stan Massey again continues to build or try to build his positions. Look as he stays on the high side of the racetrack. Here they come through turn 4. The rest of the field flying through beautifully. The beautiful Bazooka 00 car right there going into turn 2 down the back straightaway. And here comes Ronnie Johnson past Dale McDowell on the back straightaway, looking very strong again. Again, he's also running that high line, Mark.
He is, and you'll see somebody in that pack of traffic running a great race. John Jones in the J1 car, already up to 6th spot, started out in 9th place.
Stan Massey looks menacing as he comes through turn 4, again staying high. His groove is going to be high apparently at this part of the race, but Freddie Smith has stayed low and headed to the outside on the back straightaway and the front straightaway again. The battles of the ones here. Here's Clint Smith on the inside holding off Rick Auckland behind the other one car, and they're all trying to chase down Mark Miner. Mark Miner is just ahead of 4 serious, very, very serious drivers in the Hav-A-Tampa Series race cars chasing him right now.
There's a very serious Scott Bloomquist trying to make up for lost time from his stay in the pits.
There are enough laps left in this race for Scott Bloomquist and his well-equipped car to make it to the front. Barry Wright Racing cars, Jack Fournette engines in the series points leaders winning car, won 6 of the first 10 races. and fighting to come back from the rear of the pack after having to pull into the pits earlier, as you saw. Scott Bloomquist inside Clint Smith. Rick Auckland on the outside. Little wiggle in there. But Scott comes back, stays inside, runs right through turn 4 and heads down the front straightaway. 3 wide on the front straightaway, with Rick Auckland kind of trying to work his way into 4th.
A lot of traffic, a long way to go for Bloomquist.
And of course, it's not helping any that he's got to race some very good cars that are stuck back there with him right now, including Clint Smith from Griffin, Georgia, in the #1 car. Clint's been bringing the momentum of his whole program forward each race after starting a little rough there in the first few races of the season.
Of course, Clint has moved up to #2 in the point standings behind Bloomquist.
He's made a lot of progress over the last several races, and right now continues to make progress on the racetrack here at Cleveland Speedway. Scott Bloomquist, though, is ahead of Clint and looking for a way to turn the corner here and maybe get up a little closer to Mark Minor.
And Trace, we see Ronnie Johnson in a very familiar spot, 3rd place. It's where he's finished in our previous 2 TV races this year.
Freddie Smith now inside Kenny Marchant from Ruston, Louisiana, who went out earlier with a problem we haven't really diagnosed exactly. Kenny knows that to stay in this race, it'd probably be a good idea if he's followed Freddie for a while. Both Louisiana race teams racing each other at this point. Unfortunately, of course, for Kenny Marchant, he's sitting down and a lap down. Now slides inside, takes the lead away from Mark Minor and zips ahead.
J1 is John Jones from nearby Rock Spring, Georgia, in the Fisher Paint and Body car. Beautiful race.
John Jones got a great response from the crowd when he was introduced earlier, and now he's beginning to make some moves towards the front and becoming a factor in this race. The J1 car is getting faster as the evening wears on here as we continue now with 70 laps under our belt. Stan Massey coming down the front straightaway as our camera watches him pull away, heading for turn 1. Still staying a little bit low, but looking just go high again. Earlier, he stayed high throughout most of the race. Now he is going down low and trying to pick up the position on Freddie Smith, who has continued to lead by staying in the low groove. Now the crowd is watching as another battle emerges.
We have trouble in turn 2. Yes, that is Robbie Starnes in the Riggins Racing car. And there is a caution.
Don't forget, our next race coverage for the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series comes up in May as we travel to the new Lakeview Speedway, Lakeview, South Carolina. And we'll talk more about that right after we take this break on lap 74 of the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series, race number 11 from Cleveland, Tennessee. See, as we look on the front straightaway at the leader of the race every lap so far, Freddie Smith from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in the 00 car. Mark, let's take a quick look at the top 10 and see where we are in the race.
So Freddie Smith is your leader, followed by number 22, Stan Massey. Number 5, Ronnie Johnson in 3rd. Dale McDowell, car number 17, running in 4th. The J1 car of John Jones is 5th, followed by Mark Minor, Scott Bloomquist, Clint Smith, and Rick Auckland.
And Freddie's going to accelerate right now as the green flag's out again, and we're back underway with the race. Again, almost picture perfect in turn 1 and 2, right down the same line on the back straightaway. It could be monotonous, except it's Freddie Smith and his Hav-A-Tampa Racing Series, and anything still can happen in this race. Stan Massey continues to find a way to try to come back and chase him down, and so far he is still staying with that high groove going through the turns. But in the back straightaway, he starts to drift down a little, stays high again in turn 4, as you saw him blasting by there.
And then we do have a caution.
We have another caution.
I believe it's going to be for Mark Minor, whose car is peeling off on the left side. Car number 7, he's had numerous collisions tonight, and finally the left side of his car is peeling away. Trace, they're going to put Minor back in, it looks like in 7th place, behind Bloomquist, who will be in 6th. But Minor has pulled up for one more check from the Hav-A-Tampa officials.
Hav-A-Tampa Series racing just about to get underway. Brought to you by Landrum Spring Service, covering the racing spring industry like no one else. American Motorsports for all your oval track, dirt, or asphalt racing needs. And Hav-A-Tampa Racing Series rocking and roaring to a track near you and smoking to the finish. Freddie Smith in turn 4, followed by 22 Stan Massey, number 5 Ronnie Johnson, number 17 Dale McDowell. Beautiful close-up look as they hit the accelerator for the fast start again, restarting here on lap 74 of the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series, race number 11. Quick speeds as they fly and fill up turn 4, going 2 and 3 wide again. The racetrack is staying very raceable, and that's part of the reason why we've seen the passing we've seen and the move forward by Scott Bloomquist, as you see on the back straightaway, slipping inside of John Jones, but John Jones gave him just a little nudge there. Here they come, the front straightaway. There's Freddie Smith, Stan Massey, and Ronnie Johnson, all right before you quickly across the screen. Ronnie Johnson seems to be finding that groove again. He's finally starting to feel good in that car. He's changed 4 carburetors in the past 2 days to try to get the combination. But unfortunately, on the racetrack, we've got to stop and a crash in turn 3, it looks like. Mark Miner and Clint Smith have gotten together right there before you. And it looks like Clint Smith has got the left rear tire flat and maybe a little damage on that lower part of the left rear quarter panel. He's also got a piece sticking up there on the left front. Maybe enough damage to bring him out, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure Mark Miner has front end damage. And another problem, and we just saw this, David Gibson's also messed up. Right front tire's flat. I don't see any front end damage to speak of, but he does have a cut down right front tire, Mark.
And Kenny Merchant back into the pits one more time. So the casualties are starting to mount up here, 24 laps from the finish, this Hav-A-Tampa race at Cleveland.
We had many green laps there for quite a while. It was going so smoothly. I didn't even want to say this, Mark, but I thought then this race could be the first race we watched this year run with no more than 2 cautions. But unfortunately, now they're beginning to stack up. The racetrack has stayed very fast, but it is also getting a little bit slick now as the tire rubber continues to get laid down and the surface just simply gets a little more slippery and a lot more treacherous. We're about to return to green flag racing. This will be the beginning of lap 76. As the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series is now down to 24 laps to finish the 100-lap feature here and maybe make history tonight as Freddie Smith leads the pack and again has led each lap so far. World 100 champion Freddie Smith, the 00 car, and again Stan Massey putting that high outside move, trying to come after him, but again still being pulled away from as Freddie heads to accelerate on the back straightaway. Inside, Ronnie Johnson on turn 4 now trying to make some moves on Stan, but Stan staying just about a half a car length to a car length ahead. Lots of tight racing on the inside. Ronnie Johnson, a favorite certainly in Cleveland, Tennessee, is finding the way shorter through the turns than Stan Massey because Massey stays on the high side.
And they both are going to have their hands full in a minute with Scott Bloomquist and Dale McDowell breathing down their necks.
But here again, setup seems to be somewhat equal between the 5 car and the 22 car. But the speed at this point is going to be determined by which car is going to be able to stay on the racetrack and keep the most power. Scott Bloomquist next to former teammate Dale McDowell in the 17 car. He's continuing to move up. Freddie Smith blasts by on the front speedway. front straightaway shot there for you, ladies and gentlemen. I get excited when I see him go that fast, Mark. Again, each race car is set up to start to take over the track at a certain point in the racetrack. It's a guess when you start, but as you begin to emerge and move towards the top 5 and even towards the front, it may prove that your strategy was the correct one. 83 laps in the books. Here comes Ronnie Johnson blasting through the screen here. Scott Bloomquist trying to move down inside. Dale McDowell staying basically between them, but now falling behind Bloomquist on the outside in the back straightaway. Johnson's a little too high, it looks like, because Scott Bloomquist is coming back at him. Now they're going down in the turn.
Trouble out in turn 1.
Both of them headed into turn 1, but quickly we had a caution flag. Kenny Merchant and the number 29 car. C28 is Kenny Merchant.
I believe that's Gary McPherson from Dalton, Georgia in the 29 car. And it's tough to get a number. That is, and it is Kenny Merchant in the other 28 car.
That is Kenny Merchant.
who's been in and out all
Another
night
problem
long.
for him tonight. Racing has resumed. Scott Bloomquist is trying to chase down the leader, Freddie Smith, and making a heck of an effort, banging and bumping in between Ronnie Johnson there and Stan Massey, trying to make the two of them move out as they get into the final 15 laps of this race. Stan Massey still ahead of Scott, but it's going to get tougher and tougher to keep him there. Scott Bloomquist is now beginning to hook up and run like the champion that everyone expects to see on this racetrack. Scott Bloomquist, the 18 car, following Stan Massey. Now they're both beginning to run, along with Ronnie Johnson in the 5 car, pretty much in the same groove on the lower side of the racetrack. Stan Massey is trying to bring it in as he comes in on the end of 88, and lap 89 is underway as Freddie Smith continues to lead. 89 laps so far. Freddie Smith looking absolutely stupendous. Beautiful race car, looking almost flawless in every single turn, almost to the point where some people would say, is there anything about that race car that's wrong tonight? And there is nothing so far. 10 laps to go. Freddie Smith on the back straightaway. Could this be the night that Freddie Smith takes home not only $10,000, but his first win at Cleveland, Tennessee? Scott Bloomquist is starting to put a press on here out of turn 4, trying to chase down Stan Massey, who you just saw run through turn 1, now 2, and there he stays right behind him. Scott Bloomquist is looking for a way to start to reel in on with 5 laps to go. The only challenge left really for anyone to see how it may change might be whether Scott Bloomquist can bring it into the 2nd position, at least for this race. Stan Massey has stayed strong, beautifully run and well-prepared race car for the entire race, and is looking like he might just be able to hold Scott off. But he'll have his hands full, without a doubt, all the way down to the end. Stan Massey coming around turn 4, looking on the front straightaway like this could be the last chance or two for Scott Bloomquist to even think about trying to pull around him. Scott's got the power, but Stan Massey seems to have more when they get out on the straightaways. As you can see, the 22 car racing around turn 3 and 4, coming down the front straightaway as we start to look for the white flag coming out here in just a moment for Freddie Smith in the 00 car. And here it comes. White flag is out. Here comes possibly the next to the last turn for most of these race cars. Stan Massey still holding off Scott Bloomquist. Look at the race here, folks. They're down to the last lap. Is Scott Bloomquist going to be able to bring it to the front? They cannot catch Freddie Smith. Freddie Smith, unless something that's brought to him by nature slows him down, is going to take the win at Cleveland Speedway. And Stan Massey holds off Scott Bloomquist to take 2nd. Scott Bloomquist coming all the way back from very nearly the end of the pack to finish 3rd. There he is. The King Mountain, North Carolina native pulls into the tech area, says, tell me my car's okay. I've won this race, and $10,000. We'll take a look here in a moment at an interview with the winner of tonight's race with Mark McCarter right after we take this break on Sports South for the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series.
What did you do on the start to get ahead of Stan?
Well, I just went on the outside of him. You know, we pulled him down the backstretch, and we kind of run high for about a lap or two, and then went to bottom. The boys said the better time was on the bottom side, so we just stayed down there all night long. You know, I want to thank Bazooka Base Tubes and GBS Racing. And I'll tell you what, them guys, they stuck right behind me all year long. We've been down and we've been up, so, you know, we got a good win to come back with.
Okay, thank you, Freddie.
Freddie Smith is your Hav-A-Tampa Series race number 11 winner tonight here at Cleveland Speedway, Tennessee. And a special thank you to our Cleveland Speedway host, owner Joe Lee Johnson, Gladys, Lance, and all the other staff members here. And here's a look, of course, at the remainder of the final standings. Of course, Freddie Smith was your winner. In 2nd, it was Stan Massey from Mableton, Georgia in the 22 car. In 3rd, Scott Bloomquist from Mooresburg, Tennessee. 4th was Dale McDowell from Chattanooga, and Jeff Stansbury from the Cleveland area finished 5th. In 6th, of course, another Chattanooga runner, Ronnie Johnson. In 7th, it was Andy Dill. In 8th, Rick Auckland, number Number 9 was Dwayne Smith. Finishing 10th was John Jones. And as you look at the remaining standings here, we'd like to also extend a special thank you to Jeff Smith with CES Racing Radios, the short track division of Racing Radios, the official communications for NASCAR and the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series out of Century, Florida. Atlanta, and the Hav-A-Tampa Race Series based in Woodstock, Georgia at Dixie Speedway. Special thank you to CRI, Doug Fisher and all the gang, Jerry Albrecht and all the other folks that worked on this incredible race you just watched. This is Trace Ali for Mark McCarter. Thanks for watching.